I'm Igor, I'm from Ukraine, I'm co-founder of 42 Flows Technologies, and today I would really love to contribute to the topic of helping Azerbaijani young developers to get a right, better job. So I want to shortly tell about the company, so who we are, so we'll get to know each other. I will also ask you, but let us get introduced first. We are located in Ukraine. We've been first designed like a company who works remotely. We have two main offices in Lviv and in Dnipro. So we've been first designed like that. We are mostly working with jazz technologies. That's the reason why we are so excited to be with Tech Academy, because you are potentially our future employees and we are more than happy to be here. We have an office in Baku, we have a team in Baku already. We're also working with some Azerbaijani clients, which is Leo Bank. Does anybody knows what it is? Yes. And does anybody know such a product which is called VTB Direct? VTB, yeah. That's our solution which will be developed from the end to end, been developed by our guys in Lviv, Kharkov, and Dnipro. So we're already a little bit presenting on the market. We're doing mostly fintech projects and related to the chatbots, but I don't want to make you too much worried about our project. And some words about me. I'm a co-founder of the company. I've started as a Java developer in 2004. I even remember how in JavaScript to debug something with alerts, because there were no code inspector at that time, and it was not possible to find what happens with your JavaScript code. Then I've been working as a business analyst, as a project manager, and right now I'm running the business and responsible for sales and marketing. So my background is engineer. It's my second time in Baku, and I'm very, very excited to be here. So I really want to know a little bit more about you, the audience. Let's talk about you a little bit. Please raise your hand who has already have any software development experience. 1, 2, okay. Great. Does anybody here, who here is studying in Tech Academy? So you're mostly Tech Academy students, great. What kind of programming languages do you learn? So who is JavaScript guys and girls? Okay, Natalia, notice who is, yeah? And who is Python? Majority Python. Is this a Python corner? I see. Yeah. And any other languages who maybe you've been, what is Java? Anybody in Java? So, yeah, to go, Java. C#? Oh, great. Any other languages?
No, I don't know JavaScript.
JavaScript. And who else knows JavaScript? Eh? JavaScript, yes.
I'm expert in Node.js.
Node.js, yeah.
No, I have experience in PHP.
Sorry? Oh, PHP, very good. Anybody else here is about PHP? You're afraid to raise the hand, yeah? Okay. Maybe some of you would love to share thank you for sharing that. Anything about the objectives of this meeting? So what do you want to get to know? Maybe some voices from the audience. What specifically you want to know about?
What should we pay attention when we hire to job?
Good question. I will tell about it. In case it will not be clear or enough, don't hesitate to stop me and ask more.
Okay.
Yes? Anything, what else?
Actually, I also have a question.
Yeah.
Is reading a book is more important than practice? Reading a book about programming?
What is more important, reading books or having a practice? That's a question. Good one. I will cover this as well. What else?
How did you get your first job?
Sorry?
How did you get your first job?
How did you get? I will probably, it will be out of the presentation, but we'll have a networking session. Come to me, I will definitely tell you. Yes, good one. Yeah.
What should we do working in abroad, or what should we learn in which programming language?
Which programming language should be learned? Of course, JavaScript.
For working.
Of course, JavaScript. Yeah.
And what should we do for working in abroad?
What should we do for working abroad? Good one. I will cover this one. Thank you. One more. Yeah.
How do you adapt new technologies?
How do we adapt as a company new technologies?
Yeah.
Good question. Probably a little bit out of this topic, but catch me, and I will definitely reply.
Now we're learning Python instead.
I will make a choice that, of course, you face Python and Java, yeah? Yeah. Maybe okay, that's really two questions about what to learn. It's on the one side very simple question, on this one, another side a hard question. So I have two answers on that one. On the first one, the most popular language in the world is what? JavaScript. Majority of the people writing with that one. So it's much more easier to find a job in case you're a JavaScript developer. But anyway, first of all, you need to work with something you really love. In case you love Python, I'm sure that you will find enough works with Python or with Java, whatever is like really appealing to you. That's first. Second, in my career, I've been working with, I'm not a big, I don't have a big story as a software developer by myself, but I've been working with 3 or 4 languages professionally. So I'm sure that the language you would select right now, in case you're a right mindset developer, you would probably be able to change it as well in some period of time. So that's an important decision for the very beginning, but later in career, be prepared to change the language as well. Did I answer? I don't know what is like Python and Java because I do not work professionally with that one, work a lot with JavaScript, but both languages are popular.
I just want to know that do I need to learn Java as well, parallel in Python, but I'm not sure. Now I'm learning Python, but I want to learn Java as well, but in parallel.
My feeling that in the very beginning of the career, it's important to get to know one language well. Then it will be much easier for you to switch to something else. Because in Python and Java, it's quite 2 different languages in the way they approach everything. So it's better to get to know something like one language. Once you get confident, then to move to something else. That would be my personal advice. But for me, I'm as a Java developer. It's much easier for me to write in Java where everything clear types. No, not that much mess as in JavaScript or is in Python. So I'm for Java and for .NET. But that's my personal approach because I get used. Okay, let's go to presentation a little bit. So actually, we would love to cover and talk about 3 topics. The first one is about how to apply for a job, how to send your CVs. That's also something which I really invite you to consider because there are some mistakes which really decreases your chances. Besides the fact that you could be a good professional, the right person, but sometimes some things could really put you down. So I want to tell you openly about it. It's mostly from our experience in Ukraine. I accept that in Azerbaijan it could be a little bit different, or it could be a different culture of hiring people, but that's something which works pretty well in Ukraine, and I feel in all the world around as well. So that could be pretty common practice. That's the first stuff I would love to cover. Second, I want to talk about like important topic, and many of you have been like mentioned that one about what do we expect from newcomers in IT. And the third part topic, what we do not expect. So, and then we'll talk about a little bit our offering, promotion, and things like that. That's pretty the agenda. Okay, let's go. First of all, I would love to ask you to start with some personalized messages. Does anybody of you been sending CVs with trying to approach potential workers? Does anybody been trying to do this? It's, yeah, 1, 2, 3. I'm asking if you have been already applying for a job.
Yes, I'm now working.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, so you've been applying. So sometimes I'm as a business owner, sometimes what's the picture I get? It works like that. There is a long chain of addresses, or sometimes someone is called me, hello, here is my CV, I'm ready to do programming for a food, please consider me to find a job. And it's very interesting how this message is structured. My address is the following, it's Igor, I-G-O-R, @ 42flows.tech. How do you think, by looking at this email, what is my name? Any ideas?
Of course, Igor.
Of course, Igor. And then if I see that someone is not calling me Igor, means he is not writing to me. He's not wanting to spend the time to approach me personally and say, hey Igor, I know that you're from 42 Flows Technologies and you are hiring junior Node.js developers. Please consider my CV. I'm ready and could be the best candidate for you. That's a personalized message. But in case someone is not using my name, he didn't spend a time to think who I am and what I'm about, why should I consider some kind of a junior CV from a junior developer who's sending something to me? No, come here or sit. So the first very important point, try to personalize the message. And don't be the guy who just sending something to someone with idea or with assumptions that, wow, someone will be reading that one. In case you didn't spend the time to understand who I am and what is my name, at least, why should spend the time to consider in your CV? Yeah? Let's go to the second one. Here is in Russian. I will, this kind of a man. All the life I've been trying to achieve something. Right now, I understood that I need to be more specific. And someone is getting drunk in pub. So another very important message is about adjusting your CVs. When you are applying for a particular job, do you know what are the specific requirements? Do you know the name of the position you are applying? You know, and you know the company you are applying. Yes. And sometimes we get in CVs, and it's a little bit difficult for us to understand what kind of job this person is looking for. Like his CV, like it's fine that you are a junior developer, you could apply for different positions. In case you're a full stack developer, your position could be called full stack developer, you could be backend Node.js developer, you can be React developer, you could be, I don't know, in many ways named. And in case I'm trying to understand whether this CV, whether it's worth to invite someone to interview or not worth to invite, I need to understand that, okay, at least there is a particular match between the CV and position. That's something what recruiters are doing. So please, in case you know for which job you're applying, first, name your CV, name the position you would love to achieve according to the position that you are trying to apply. That will, increase your response rate significantly because people will just simply know who you are and what you're looking for. Yeah?
But I think there is a problem when the big companies or like small companies publish their works, what they're looking for. They, for example, looking for a React developer, but also they note that it's also good advantage if you will know Node.js, Python, C#, SQL, NoSQL database, and people who apply for this job like hesitate about like, should I also indicate that I know Node.js or PHP, or should I just be more researched about that? So I think that's not only the problem from the people or from the junior who are applying, there are also problems from the company that they publish their requirements.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I will tell you how we try and what we see maybe in the Ukrainian market, which sees that each job position has a particular name. It's called, we call position middle Node.js developer or junior plus Node.js developer. So it's clearly indicates. And then we have like sub requirements like, okay, of course we would love you to know relational databases and NoSQL databases, and maybe it would be a plus in case you know some front-end stories. But we have a main topic in the position. Unless the position is called, we are looking for software developer, which means actually nothing. So we probably would, by reading the vacancy, you can grasp what is the main purpose of what is the main technology, yeah, and what is the main specification. So please name your CVs accordingly, plus, clearly state in the CV that I'm looking for this particular job. It may be less. Sometimes we see it in non-development positions, like someone say, I'm looking for a job in dynamically growing company with great perspectives to achieve my career goals. That does nothing to me. In case you tell me, I'm looking for a job of office manager, of salesperson, or marketing director, that's great. That clearly tells me that this person potentially matches the position. So the more concrete you are, the more chances you would have to get invited to the interview. And that's actually the idea for you to send CVs to be invited. Yes? Yes. So more tricks you could do. You could, sometimes you have many requirements, yeah, and sometimes you can like adjust your CV to meet particular requirements. For example, I know the many technologies, and I would love to just select the ones which are appealing to this particular position. I've seen some fantastic CVs from developers in Ukraine. I'm getting CVs that I'm no assembler, Node.js, C++, Pascal. I say, great, maybe that's everything he was learning from I don't know, school till the end of the university, but who he is? Is it C++ developer? Is he a React developer? I'm really not clear about. And that creates in my mind situation, okay, the person is not professional in any of those technologies, so I would never consider him to be applied for senior position. So be specific and be very focused applying to particular jobs. That would really help you to get right attention from interviewers, and you will be able to get to the interview. Any comments and questions about it? Colleagues? Yeah? We can move forward. Do some sign. Okay, okay. That's very important for Ukraine. I'm sure it's very, it's not any big issue in the academy. Use English while you're sending your CV. In Ukraine, maybe 90% of the market works abroad, and English is a working language in majority of the projects. So all the documentation, all the Jira bugs, everything, all the code comments are done in English. My favorite tip, it's about asking the right question. So how to, that's a tick, not like a problem, but how could you pay attention? How you could get attention from the company? Like your CVs, and we know it's for sure, they don't have that many details, you don't have that many skills, you don't have that many experience. But you have a really secret weapon by asking right questions. And so once you're applying for a job, you can ask questions, and you can just thus get engaged with, I don't know, recruiters, even with the person who is recruiting. Yeah, and let me, talk with you a little bit about it. How do you think could be right questions and what could be wrong questions to ask by making a first letter or making an introduction letter? Let's start maybe with the bad questions. What do you think could be the bad question to ask? We are not in school, we are not making marks, so it's the place for discussion and learning.
I think salary would be a bad question to ask.
Yeah, that's what this bad question is. You're a junior and you just applying for a job and asking about the salary. Good point. What else could be the bad question?
I think any question that mentioned in their website can be bad question because they shouldn't cut them.
Yeah, sure, definitely. Asking something, yes, your hand. Asking something which is already known, it's a bad question. Sure.
Maybe work hours, like we are junior developer and we want to work, and hours it's complicated to.
Very good. Asking about the working hours. Should I be working from 9 to 6, or is it the flexible hours referred and so on? Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's not a good question for the first ask. Yeah.
Maybe not asking the question. At the end, they ask if you have any question. How about not asking the question?
Not asking the questions at all.
At the end of the interview, they're asking if you have any question, any clarification is needed.
Yeah, sure.
Not ask a question at that time.
I will tell you even more. When we run the interview, we say, okay, dear candidate, we invite you to ask questions first, so we would love you to have enough space to ask. And by seeing which questions get asked, that's the first interviewing question. So we see what is important for candidate and what is not important for candidate. So we do it vice versa. So half of the interview, our candidates are interviewing us, but we are not interviewing them. That's our trick. Not many companies are doing like that. That is not a rule, but that's how we approach the story. What else could be a wrong question? Yeah.
Wrong question. I'm sorry. I thought right question.
Yeah, we will come to the right questions as well, because we need to. What other wrong questions could be? Yeah.
Asking about working place.
Working
Place, home or office.
Yeah, that's not the right question to be asked from the very beginning. Indeed. What else could be?
Asking about contract.
What do you mean?
Contract,
It's a right question, but not at the early stage, because in the early stage you need like to ask the questions which help you to demonstrate that you're professional. So asking about working conditions, about legal stuff, about salaries, that's something which could be wrong. Yeah.
Maybe ask about holidays, maybe free times.
Yeah, about asking about the holiday, that's a wrong question from the very beginning, because you need to ask the question which demonstrates that you're maybe not that much experienced, but quite professional one. What could be the right questions, how do you think? Which could demonstrate your professional ability, yeah.
For example, ask about future plans of the company.
Future plans of the company, that's a nice question, yeah. That's a good question, but when you asking about those plans, you need to know what you would get while you will receive a response.
Oh.
So, I mean, in case someone junior asks me about the future plans, I will definitely reply, but I will be curious why he is asking about it, or what he is going to do with that one. But that's a good question. What else could be a good question? What is demanded from you? Yeah, it's a good question. What else? Okay, I see that, okay, I need to probably go and give some ideas about, yeah.
Just one, I would like to ask in Azerbaycan you two questions.
Sure.
Dostlar, ingilisini bilmeyenler için iki sual səsləndi, sadəcə təkrar etmək istəyirəm. Birinci sual odur ki, əgər siz birinci dəfə intervyuya gedirsiniz, juniorsunuz, soruşula biləcək ən pis sual və ən yaxşı sual hansı ola bilər? Əgər buna bağlı Azərbaycanda cavabınız varsa, deyə bilərsiniz. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would love to know what company offers to employ new employees.
That's kind of a bad question, because by asking this question, you need to sell yourself, but not to ask company to sell it to you. Because that's the place where you need to be careful. That's why we have this maybe kind of a discussion, with tension. I would really love to invite you to think about the right ones. Yeah.
For example, right now I'm working in a company, and when I lived here and I want to apply another job in another company, when I go here, everybody asks me, why did you quit your job?
Yes.
The previous one. But we also can ask that, how many workers left your company for a month and why did they leave? Because it's really a main question, because it is about our career in here. What will be to me and what is their problem actually in this company they lived here?
So that's, did everybody hear the question?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a great question, and that is something you really need to bear in your mind when you are researching about the company. In case you will ask it directly on the first interview, that sounds kind of a little bit aggressive, like, okay, I'm not trusting you as a company, so I really want you to give me something which, get me like a right feeling that I'm going to the right place. So by asking this directly, in Ukraine it could sound like a little bit offensive. You definitely need to check it, and by asking this question in an interview, in case many people are leaving, you will never get an honest response. We always find out to tell you something which probably will not be like satisfying you, and you will not be able to check it. So that's very important stuff to consider, but that's not something you could ask directly.
Maybe we can ask about the policy of the company.
Policy of the company.
Policy of the company for career development or the personal development of the workers.
That's a good one. That's where you could ask, like, okay, what I need, but it should be probably framed properly. I love the question where I ask, okay, what I need to do in order to get to the next position. It's not like, what is the policy, what you give to me. You're taking kind of responsibility, okay, what I can do to get to the new job. That's a very great question. Yeah.
I guess when you apply as a junior developer, you always need some senior developers who will support you in your career. So you have to be sure that you will have support from other developers, and you will improve your skills in that particular job.
That's the right point, but that needs to be checked properly. In case in the first message I'm asking, will I have a mentor or will anybody would support me? That sounds for me like, okay, I'm not confident in my skills, I need somebody to be my babysitter or mentor, which is probably not the good selling point. Yeah, that's something you would need to check and need to be confident, but by asking it very clearly, some say, look, I'm a junior, I feel like I need somebody to take care about me. So that sounds like a little bit like as a concern. One more idea, and I will probably give some insights from my side as well. Maybe someone who has never been like raising the hand before.
How do you choose which questions are good or which questions
So?
are bad? For what do you choose?
Yes, I'm choosing someone, the question need to sell you as a professional or demonstrate you as a professional. Yeah, and the good question is would be about the working, like it's about software development life cycle which takes place in the project. Look guys, are you agile, fixed price, less agile, more agile? Wow, this junior guy takes care about the process and knows about the differences, cares about it, and wants to get to the right place. That's a good question. It could be a good question about technologies and frameworks which are used in the project. For example, in case I'm talking about the Java, there are that many different versions, framework, and libraries which are used. The same appeals to the Node.js. So you could be very much specific about, okay, what versions do you use? Which, okay, I'm not clear with what databases I will have to work. In case some, reference to databases is mentioned, but it's not clear. That gives me a clear sign that there's some person who, first of all, knows the difference about the different technologies. Second, cares about what he or she will do. So, and by asking the questions, it's kind of not to, in case the question is relevant and done with respect. Of course, like recruiters will go to hiring person and will ask, okay, could you give me a response? I have a junior guy who asks us some smart questions. So could you give me additional details so I could make a professional response? And you already get interested. So that's kind of the questions which are really inviting you to ask. Please understand me correctly. I'm not stopping you from asking the questions about the salary, about the working conditions, about career perspectives. That's something you should know before entering the company. But that's the question you need to ask when you already sold yourself. And that's the place to ask those questions. I will tell you how it works in Ukraine. Like, we are always given a job offer where all the benefits are listed, salary listed, the time for salary review is specified, so we made a very clear written commitment for our employees. And many of the companies in Ukraine are doing the same. So you normally know for which salary you are coming, how many vacation days, sick leave days, everything is pretty much written. We are also writing about career perspectives and objectives for salary reviews. So that's everything is settled from the very beginning. But please feel free to ask. In regards to people who are leaving, I had a very nice interview with the lady. She was applying for her head of sales position. We sent her an offer, and then she calls me in 2 hours to say like, look, man, I've looked at your whole LinkedIn story of your company, and I have figured out that some people being fired in the sales department. I want to talk about each of them to know objectives why they left. Say, okay, Inna, the name of the girl, and she was like, I explained to you about every person, what has happened with that person, why she left or her left, what was the role and position. She get all the responses, then he has just signed off the letter. She signed off the offer, job offers that we sent you. I'm sure, I'm confident, like, I'm doubt that you can do the same on a junior position, so be careful, but some senior positions are really doing this kind of checks that you've been mentioning.
And what was your reaction when you got that?
It was mixed feeling. The first one I say, who is making an interview? That was my reaction. Second, I stopped myself and say, look, what is really talking, what is this case talking about me? First of all, the person is really interested, in case she's asking those questions. Second, she knows as a salesperson how to work with the LinkedIn. Yeah, and that's important. Third, she's not afraid to ask tough clients with tough questions, which is also something I would love to get from the salesperson. So I told her, and she said, okay, fair enough, here's an offer. Yeah, that was the reaction. Other questions? Comments? Complaints? No. Going. Oh, this was the point. I want to give you some topics about the CVs. We get many CVs, and I'm sure that my recruiters could tell you even more stories. So, but the first one, which we like, sometimes we get really nice CVs, different colors, different infographics. We don't really need it. So it's enough to have a plain text with the right technology and all the details settled. So don't be too much engaged with making a very beautiful picture and very hard to find out, okay, what is skills, education, achievements, and so on and so forth. So black and white is good enough. And let me stress about some things that you really need to be aware about what is important for juniors. First of all, it's fine that you don't have experience. We know that you are juniors. We know that this could be potentially your first job. So it's totally fine in case there is no working experience. It would be great and fantastic in case you could add any relevant experience, projects, I don't know, pet projects, courseworks, laboratory works that you have completed. So we can see what you've been doing. Okay, you haven't been doing a professional like paid commercial projects. Okay, show me what you've been doing. What was your coursework? What is your pet project? What you've been trying to do? At least it demonstrates your ability and willingness to program, which is very important for us, and I will tell later on about it. Education. Sometimes I get a CV, and I don't know who is sitting in front of me. Especially that becomes relevant, and many people are switching from non-IT jobs to IT, and many of you are probably here as well. It's very important for me to know what is your background. It's one story that you have like engineering background, wants to switch in IT. It's one story. In case you have like a history background or non-engineering background, you want to switch to IT. It's another story. So it's very important to know who you are. Yeah, in case there is in CVs there is a missing information indication, I couldn't proceed further. I don't know who is this person about. I know that in Azerbaijan it's very important for you to have diploma and to have a certificate. Is it true? Yes. In Ukraine, it's not yet important at all. So no one checks about do you have diploma or not. We even have developers who've been like students that just left universities and just keep working, and they did a very successful career because they know how to program. So we pay less attention in Ukraine, but at least having education demonstrates for us your initial intention and demonstrates that you're able to finish something in your life. Yeah? So education is very important to be here. And the last point, who already have any background or any works which is not related to IT? Here in this audience. What are your jobs been like? Chemical engineering. Mechanical engineering.
Project manager.
Project manager. What else?
I'm studying in a chemistry teacher field, but not working right now.
Not working right now. So it's very important that we know what is your background and relative like projects. Like for example, in case you're engineers, we understand that you will be able to work with software engineers because many things like thinking like engineer is very important. In case you are a teacher and we are hiring you for Scrum Master or Project Manager position, we know that you will be able to deal with big kids at least, or you know how to deal with people, or you know how to transfer knowledge, how to make stories. So your relevant experience, even not in IT, is very important. Sometimes I get a CV like the following. I finished university in 2009, and in 2020 I started QA courses. And right now I would love to apply to the position of QA. I'm asking, what you've been doing about 11 years in between? Have you been in prison? Have you been collecting strawberries in Poland? What was your job? Who you are? And it's like what is important for us that we see the we see the progress and career growth in that period of time. It could happen that the industry you've been working is not successful right now, but you are able, but you are able to be successful. You're able to grow, and now you want to switch your area. That's fine. But in case we see that you've been changing the job every year in different profession, we are confident that the same stuff will happen in IT. So it's probably not the best CV we could observe. I'm checking. Maybe shall we have
Networking time?
a little bit like coffee break, and then we'll continue. How do you feel? Or guys, we want us to continue or want to make a break? What is your?
Dostlar, kısa bir araya mesleği, çay kofemiz var, açtırmamız, oraya geçip hem siz biraz dinleyeceğiniz hem siz ders fikirsiz.
Chai coffee, yeah. Chai coffee. Before you will go, just a second. I want to, for those who are from chemical engineering, one of the best architects I've been working in the beginning of career. He was a teacher of chemistry. Yeah, he was from the small city in Ukraine. He was a teacher of informatica and chemistry. And he was a fantastic guy. So he really loved development, and that's what I feel like is important, especially if you're engineers. I'm sure you will be able to succeed in IT. So, coffee break. I'm not stopping you from chai and coffee. And I'm here so we can keep asking informal questions. So I'm with you, and later on we will continue with expectation and non-expectation in IT. Okay?
Thank you. That mostly the guys who have diplomas, they are getting jobs more often actually, so they have more chances to that. So for now, what is the rate of the guys who actually doesn't own the diploma but they getting job? So can you just speak about that?
Sure, and you will translate it back to.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, to reply. Maybe what I would love to give you as a response is the following. We say in Ukraine we have some informal measurement.
Let me just translate this part. Növbəti məsləhətlərin növbətlərindən ibarət olacaq. Ukrayna кейsində məsələn belədir.
So we say the following: in case someone is studying for computer science and get graduated and has no experience, it means that he is not a proper developer. So we expect everybody who would graduate would already have some minimal working experience.
Demək, Ukraynada məsələn kompüter mühəndisi bir ixtisasını bitirmiş kəs, onun əgər təcrübəsi yoxsa demək o ixtisasını heç nə öyrənmir. Yəni o ixtisası yiyələnsə belə, onun diplomu olsa belə, mütləq ki onun ən az aşağı səviyyədə olsa belə iş təcrübəsi olmalıdır. Buna daha çox önəm verilir Ukraynada.
Maybe it could be part-time, maybe it could not be very specific IT job. Yeah, but it's very important for us to see in case you're right developer, after the third or fourth course, you will really get started to work somewhere. And that's how it works, and that's something that demonstrates that the person is really smart enough.
Ya bu part-time iş də ola bilər. Siz təhsilinizlə eyni anda, ikinci, üçüncü kursda hər hansı bir yerdə kiçik bir təcrübə də keçə bilərsiniz. Və bu əslində sizin belə deyim, çox bir biliyinizin olduğunu da göstərmir. Əksinə sizin ən az bu sahədə çalışmaq istədiyinizin bir siqnalıdır. Yəni ki, sizin nə qədər bunda həvəsli olduğunuzu da göstərir.
Bəs diplom olmadan bu sahədə iş tapmaq çox yüksək azı yox.
So is it possible to get a job without a diploma?
Yes. Definitely. I will tell you that many of ours, because we are not looking for, I will tell you what we are looking for, and then it will be more clear why we don't care about the diploma.
Okay. İndi mən göstərəcəm nəyə görə, ümumiyyətlə biz nə axtarışındayıq bir şirkət olaraq və siz başa düşəcək ki, diplom önəmli deyil.
For example, I get my diploma from university 3 years after the graduation.
Məsələn, mən diplomu universiteti bitirdikdən 3 il sonra almışam, yəni o qədər də önəmli olmuyor.
Because, and that seems like funny for you, we care more about what you know and what you can, rather than what paper you have. That's probably the different way how we approach these things.
Ola bilər ki, biraz gülməni səslənir, yəni fun dedi, amma bu əsas məsələ sənin nəyi bacardın və biliyin. Əsas məsələ o kağız parçası deyil, yəni bir qısa. Thank you very much.
You mentioned that after graduating, it means
Good question. Курица или яйцо, да? Chicken or egg? What is the first? In Ukraine, okay, I can tell you the real story. When I started my first business, it was 2014. It was a time when the Russian has attacked Ukraine. So it was a really tough time. Many businesses has collapsed. Hryvnia has fallen down in 3 times. So the country was really very much depressed. And I just started a new business, and there was a guy who came to me for an interview. And he failed it. So he was not able to, he was a guy about 30, he has degree in computer science, but he has no experience. He was trading furniture, has his own businesses, kind of trading, nothing related to IT and high tech at all. And 8 years after his graduation, he decided to start a job in IT, because in Ukraine we pay salaries in United States dollars. So in case hryvnia falls down, your salary in dollars remains the same. So it's pretty attractive for all the people around. So he decided to enter the job. And he failed an interview. And I didn't tell him that he has failed, but he felt it. And he said, look, man, he told me, I know that I didn't fail, and you fair enough, you had the right questions, it's your right not to take me for a job. But he told me, but please give me a chance, give me 2 months to work for free, I will do everything you tell me, and then we will sit down and we'll negotiate what to do next. I asked him, are you sure that you're going to do everything? Say, by everything, I mean everything. Say, okay. So the first week, he was helping me to settle the office. So to construct furniture, to remove the things. He has a car, he know how to do it. So he was really helping me. And some period of time, he was just nearby to do some tasks, just to get to the IT by offering his free services. And in a 1.5 years time, he was recruited, he relocated to Kyiv. He was successfully recruited for one of the biggest Ukrainian company in Kyiv. We were very much famous. So he was really able to give something to get a working experience. And once we see the right person, it was easy for us to take him. That's one story. The second story about getting a job, first job in IT. It was, I've been working before the war and relocating to Lviv, even started the business. I was working in Donetsk. Does anybody knows what is Donetsk? Yes, so I was working as top manager in a big energy company, and we have kind of a New Year celebration. Imagine the big hall, more than 100,000 people, already quite drunk, and it's probably at 3 p.m. the young lady comes to me and said, hey, I have heard that you are from IT. I'm just, starting my career. I'm just a student of the second course or third course. I really want to get any job. Maybe I can do something. Say, look, I'm right now not about making any decisions because I'm already quite drunk. Here's my phone number. Call me after the new year. We will find out some job for you in our department, because we always need someone to make documentations, run unit tests, something who could help and get into the IT. And such opportunities are available. And that was the experience I have. In Ukraine, there are many internships, there are many courses where you can get, as a junior. So just don't need to be need to be a little bit persistent in finding such kind of jobs. And sometimes be ready to work for a couple of months for free just to get experience. And that's pretty much understandable by everybody. Did I give you a response? What we expect from juniors. We expect you to love programming. Yesterday I've been meeting our lovely developers in Baku, and one of them said, look, man, I tried this one, I tried that one, I think that we need to change something in our project because we need to bring some new technology, a new approach. I'm not in charge to make this decision whether it's right or not, but we like to see the person who loves the programming. And it's very important, we see it, we all asking, what was your first program that you wrote? When you wrote it? Why you have decided to get to IT? Just because you feel you will get enough money, or there's something behind it? What you do except your, what do you do except your normal working, duties? For For example, someone was asking me what to do if I'm already working for 2 months, don't feel like I'm growing. Yeah, that's great, you want to grow, but what do you do to grow more? Have you get any additional courses? Have you read additional book? Have you started a pet project? So how do you grow? And that's what we see, and really need to check that there is someone who is junior, is really love programming. It's totally fine for us in case you're not, doesn't know something, it's totally okay. You could not know everything, especially if you're juniors, we do not have too much expectations, but we would love to see that you are programming lover. I could give you also an example from one of the really developer I love. I've been starting a new job and I really wanted to quickly start to recruit developers because otherwise the job of my department would really be damaged. And the guy came for interview. He's not like typical IT guy, you know, who is like we are looking right now. He was a guy it was 10 years ago with a tie, you know, like small, shy, like really not typical Ukrainian IT guy, like small. He was programming on some factory. And in the middle of interview, he started to tell me that between the interviews he has been reading and trying some new technologies, which we've been asking him, and something was not working. I said, okay, looks like very, very strange. I took my senior developer and asked Alexei, could you please check what he's talking about? He said, yeah, this guy was really like trying something, and he found some mistakes and bugs in the code that we are using. So maybe we have a right developer who really would love to try something, to check something, to experiment and to grow. I say, look, in this case, that's absolutely right guy to recruit because we know that he loves programming. And that is something what we are looking first. Agree about it? Disagree? Second, we would love to have someone who solves the problems. There's something which we don't expect, and I'm kind of making a bridge to the next part of the presentation. Sometimes we're giving some task to the candidates which doesn't know the answer. You need to think about it. And it's very important for us to see how you solve and address the problems. So how you could ask questions, how you could find non-trivial solution, how do you accept recommendations that we are making for you to help you to solve the problem. Because for you to know, you will get in a working space and there will be more and more problems that you don't know how to solve. Some problem, even to know what to Google, you need to know what to Google. Even once you get a response from Stack Overflow, you would need to understand what to do with that one. And sometimes you would have a piece of software where something is not working and you need to understand what is not working and how to fix it. So we really expect that the person will be able to solve the problems. Analytical skills. That is something which is like really hard to measure, but we know that software engineering is about engineering. Yeah, and you need to be able to think abstractly, abstractное мышление. Yeah? I'm using the right word. We really need you to be able to ask the right question, to decompose the task in small pieces, to see the bigger picture. That's something that is what you will be working every day. And for us, it's very important that this analytical or mathematical background exists. Software development is very abstract thing by itself. So we're working with what? Like really with what? With some, even not numbers, you're working with some code that somehow then get executed and executed also in not like, you know, many layers. So you're really working with something very, very intangible. So your ability to think abstractly, your ability to operate within the math, it's very core for being a developer. And that's something we demonstrate, like looking for specifically. So pay attention, we're not looking for you to know some specific frameworks. That's something you could learn. Or even you don't know, even right now you know something, in 2 years everything will be completely new. Or it will be something very specific within your new project. That's something we could fix and train you. But you will need to be able to have analytical skills, be able to concentrate and be able to concentrate on details. That's very, very important. Be adequate in the communication. So you're not rude, you're not shout at recruiters. I'm so lucky with that I have a good recruitment team, so I do not get any inadequate candidates to interview with me. So I really get a really great guy, so all other non-adequate people are sorted out by recruiters. And I'm sure that in this audience there is no one who could think that he or she is not adequate. But please ensure that your communication is properly. In Azerbaijan, that's not an issue at all because yours a culture with a lot of respect to others. In Ukraine, it could be different. Soft skills. Here's written, always think about what you write. I will want to ask the question. Anybody of you been in CVs like writing, I'm enthusiastic, I'm open-minded, creative thinker? Did anybody wrote something like that? You did it? Who else? Yeah. You? Okay, there are some of you. So, yeah, and you as well. So every time I see such kind of a message in CV, I always ask to give an example how this could be demonstrated. So, I mean, please take care about your CV. In case you say something about your qualities, be able to demonstrate these qualities in the interviewing process, or be able to bring in a particular example on how this works. Soft skills and communication is an important story because that is something we could not quickly adjust. In case you're a rude person or getting too much emotional or too much egoistic, that's not something we could fix by giving you a course how to work with NoSQL databases. Or that's not something we could just adjust you with a couple months of training. That's something, the reason of this is much more deeper. So that's a very important stuff that we used to consider. And how we check actually the skills, I want to tell it a little bit. So we check it by asking to bring a particular example. For example, like the ones who've been raising the hands, what's been written in your CVs? Just what kind of qualities? Just one or two? Flexible.
Working under pressure.
Working under pressure. Good. So I'll be asking like, okay, which task been completed? What kind of biggest pressure you've been addressing in your working environment?
I've been able to do multiple tasks at once.
Yeah, and I will be asked more and more distinguishing questions to understand.
Go into details if I write
Sure.
down my CV.
Sure. I just wanted to demonstrate how it happens here in the environment. About flexible, yeah.
Time management. Time management.
But what is time management? You're able to work, meet deadlines. Yeah. So in this case, I will ask you to bring me an example when you didn't able to manage to meet a deadline. And do you know why?
Can you repeat?
Oh, sorry. In case I will see in CV that there is someone is saying, look, I'm punctual, I always meet deadlines. So in this case, I always ask a person to give me a particular example when she didn't manage to meet a deadline. Do you know why? Why? Because like we're all missing the deadline. It's a problem on how a person is able to handle it. And whether she is able to accept that sometimes I'm wrong and sometimes I'm getting mistakes. And we as software developers, we know that we are doing a lot of mistakes. They are called bugs and specially registered, and there are special people who used to check whether you have bugs or not. So it's fine to have mistakes. It's very important that person is able to accept it and fix it. So that's soft skills. I mean, I can give more ideas about what questions could be asked depending on your qualities, but please be aware that it's a very important part of the interview. What we do not expect. Yeah, there are some words. When you are just starting the work in IT, you're very much knowing and concerned that I don't know such kind of technology. It's totally fine, really. I mean, we don't expect you'll be able to know everything, you will be able to be professional. Please consider that it's fine to be enough analytical, enough software lover. That is good enough. You will get enough knowledge in working space, and we would love mostly to see how you are progressing rather than what you are knowing right now. Yeah. Second, what we don't expect, we don't expect that you will be afraid of difficulties. You will have a lot of them in work environment because IT is always about solving the problems. In Kiev, for 2 months, I'm already doing some kind of, we've been talking with us here in, during the coffee break with the guy who said, for 2 months I'm not learning something new, I'm just feeling I'm degrading. So you will always have to learn something new, you will always have to deal with engineering problems, that something is not working as expected, many issues. So we don't expect you to be afraid of difficulties. I have a following case which I used to share. There was an interview with a lady. I gave her to solve some analytical task, to do something with a race, and I give her a paper, say please feel free to write down the solution, then we will discuss what is on paper, how it works. And then she did, do you know what? She stayed like this. And even not touching the paper or pen to write something. And she was staying like for a minute, say, look, maybe you have some idea, maybe you don't know the solution, which is fine, but let's think together what could be the solution, how you would approach the task. And she didn't move, so we didn't took her for a job, but yeah.
If the solution would be wrong, totally wrong, is there any possibility she can pass to the next level? I mean, if she will try.
Pass to the next level of interview?
Yeah.
No, because I really want the person to try. I mean, I really see the psychology if the person really makes a move. Okay, I don't know the solution, but I have some idea how to do it.
So I'm asking if she made some move.
No, she didn't make a move. She didn't try to start thinking and approaching the task.
Okay.
Totally no. I mean, that is not something, probably, it's very exaggerated case, but sometimes really check how person is able to deal with difficult, okay, I don't know how to solve it, or there is we are showing that here is a mistake. Hey buddy, do you know how to debug the code and to find out what you're doing wrong? Okay, I start thinking, and if you see that the person is able to find a solution, perfect. The lady which we have right now in the company, I've been really kind of giving her a task, and I was like really on time pressure. I really wanted to finish the interview. I say, look, I will try to help you to give some more tips how to call it. So she said, stop Igor doing this. I will do this task by myself, and I don't need any tips. We recruited her because she was really about to solve the task by herself. That's something that we are looking for, and of course she is successfully working. That's actually two things that we are, moving a bit about deep technological knowledge, and we've been talking about.
So can I give a question?
Sure. And, yes.
Once I've been trying to do the same thing, but my boss didn't like that I want to take everything to myself and to do by myself. He said that you should be able to work with team, not by yourself.
You mean an interview or in a working environment?
No, in a working environment.
Okay, it's two different.
Project, I said that just give it to me. I want to try myself and do it all by myself. But he didn't like this.
Yeah, it's two different stories. One story, if you're interviewing in person, and we would love to be confident that this person wouldn't give up and will finish the task and will deal with the task. That was my example. In your case, the boss could be right, considering that I have a project, I have a timeline. We also something that we deliver to our juniors saying, hey guys and girls, in case you feel that there is an issue or there is a problem, ask for help. Because we don't want you to stuck for a week without delivering anything while we could help you. So that's something what we expect from juniors. So they would understand that they get stuck and then ask for help.
No, it wasn't something that I could stuck. I think that I have done it in a week and I have done it by myself. But at the end, he said that who has done? I said that only me, and he said that no, it's not good.
For me, it's very hard to, I don't know the story, and it's very hard for me to comment the.
I want to know if boss likes the person to work by herself or by with team.
We like, and that's part of our culture, we would love people to work within teams. Because we trust that the different people, different mindsets are really fruitful for the success of the company. Diversity, nice word. That's why we're here in Azerbaijan, because we'd love to build a different culture, different people within the team. That's how we want things to happen. But I don't know the full story and how this is perceived by your boss, so it's hard to comment your story particularly.
I just wanted to show my videos. I can't do it. That wasn't my case.
More questions? Maybe it's already 9 p.m., so it's long. So I want to give you a little bit of conclusion to wrap up what we have, and there will be more time for questions here in the audience, more questions in out. So several things I would love to talk about. The first one I really would love to say is that in case you're approaching someone, you're approaching recruiters, you're approaching companies, please, please, please, please be as personalized as possible. Meaning that your CVs get adjusted to the position, meaning that you know to whom you're writing. Please ask right questions. That's something which all the first story been covered. Second, for us, it's not that much important about what you know and what you can. It's important for us to see that you have a potential to grow. And that's something that we measure by interview. Are you able to deal with difficulties? Are you able to solve the problems? Are you really love and willing to program? In case that's something we see in your eyes during the interview, we'll definitely recruit you. Yeah, that's very important. Of course, you need to be able to program. That's not to replace it, but we are less concerned about specific technologies or knowledge of technology. We really want to see that you are thinking, that you are knowing, that you are get interested, that you are learner. That's very important for us. And the last message, be software developer in case you love it. In Ukraine, we see many people are going to software development just because it's a big money. That's true, so it's, it's well paid. But, it's, our lives doesn't worth something in case we do not, enjoying it every day. So I really encourage you to be software developer in case you enjoy it, in case you go to the job with a smile and with a pleasure. That's the consideration. Here's some contacts. So please take the time to get subscribed to our LinkedIn, to visit our website. So don't be shy. You can make your pictures and you can get into in case you want. I'm available on the LinkedIn, so please don't be hesitated also to message me as a friend. I will be more than happy to be with you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Gifts, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
You also
Who deserves?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Who deserves the chapter?
Yeah, sure. We have, we've been really trying, we really wanted to, we've been discussing in coffee break that the Ukraine is very much known for its, the Lviv, the place where we are, very much known for sweets. So we have two true Lviv chocolate for the most active people who've been asking the more questions, and I give a pressure to select the ones and to make.
En çetin istediğim bana verdiler, böyle değil. İlk olarak hoş geldiniz dostlar. Ümid ederim hoşunuza geldi. Ve gördüm adeten Azerbaycan'da çok aktif olurlar sual vermede. Bugün sizi aktif gördüm. Ama inanıram ki bundan sonraki tədbirlərdə daha aktif olarsınız. Her zaman daha aktif olun tədbirlərdə. Ama bu çətin seçimdir. Diyeyim, aktivlər vardı çünkü aramızda. Ama seçmək lazımdır sözsüz ki. Əslində bayaqdan diqqət yetiririk. 2 nəfər demək olar ki artıq təyin olunub. Yenə dediyim kimi aktivlərimiz çoxdur. Leyla xanım idi deyəsən. Aha, buyurun siz. Çingiz Bey, buyurun siz.
Belə çağırda belə bir 5 min mükafat yok.
There's a gold and bronze.
Birinci yer oldu mahkeme.
Teşekkürler. Geçmiş olsun.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for making this wonderful event, for bringing this wonderful audience and making this nice event. That's a big pleasure and big thank you for your organization.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For accepting our invitation and coming and just sharing your experience with our junior guys, and really we appreciate that. Applause, please.